We continue our post-race coverage of the Carfax 250 at Michigan. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And as the Victory Lane celebration continues, we remind you to go to Goodyear.com and show your thanks and help support our troops. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Good to have the blimp with us today here at Michigan International Speedway. And inside the pit studio with Rusty and Brad, listening to some of the post-race interviews from the drivers on this second race of the next generation car. Two things stand out to me. A lot of guys saying, fun to drive. That's good. But like we talked about before, so many unknowns and so much to learn for these teams before we see this car again at Richmond September 10th.
Well, they're going to continue to stay learning. I mean, this car it was a lot of fun to drive, like everybody said, but they do have a lot of work to get them handling consistently. Most of the day, I heard everybody saying, I'm really loose. Even the fast cars were saying, I'm really loose. They've got to understand what's going on because a track like this is semi-close as Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's where we're going to see this car running the last race of the year. The next race is a short track, completely different setup, so these guys are in a huge learning procedure with this car right now.
Yeah, they really are, and today is one of the second time they get an opportunity to build some data, build some notes, and go forward. We saw the race get spread out a little bit back in the pack, but we did see some pretty interesting racing up front.
Oh, yeah.
So, now, so there's a lot to take out of it, the aero situations, how the car hits the splitter, a lot to learn, but I thought it was a good learning experience for all involved today.
You know, I was thinking watching Brad Keselowski celebrate in Victory Circle today. Here he is, the guy with the big championship lead, picking up his 4th win of the season, his 10th win overall in this series. And wasn't it just a couple of years ago we were talking one of the new fresh faces coming to prominence at NASCAR's top levels. And now we're watching his car get pushed out of Victory Circle toward tech inspection after a big win. Had some other young guys whose names are just starting to come to prominence have good races today. One is with Mike Massaro.
And that, of course, being Ryan Truex, a career-best 12th place finish today, but kind of a dicey moment there in the closing laps. Brendan Gaughan losing a motor right in front of you. What was that like?
Scary. I couldn't see anything, and I pretty much just held on for dear life there, and I thought the race was over there, but I got it back under me and ended up with 12th, and I just had a lot of fun today. This car is really fun, a lot of fun to drive, and I learned a lot about aero stuff and how to side draft and take the air away from people and things like that. So it was a good day, and can't thank MWR and everyone enough for giving me this opportunity, and Napa Auto Parts for coming on, tow truck in a box, just everyone that's got me this far. And had a lot of fun today, and just can't say how much I appreciate everything everyone's done for me.
No doubt learning these cars, a bit of a challenge. One of the challenges is always pit road for a rookie. What was it like trying to get out of your pit box today?
Not good. With these cars, they're really long gears, and first gear is really long, so I'm used to the short tracks where you got real short gears and you can just dump the clutch and take off, and here you got to really rev it up more. And I stalled at the first pit stop, and my brother came on the radio and told me, taught me some stuff on how I can get out of the pit box better, and it helped. So got to thank him for that, and just a good day.
What types of things, I know you communicated with your brother throughout the course of the weekend, what types of things did you discuss that helped you today?
What I said before about learning the air, that side of things, it's really a lot more important than I thought it'd be. When you get behind a car, it just picks your speed up so much, and you can do so much with the air, and others can take it away from you. And when you're following somebody, you'll lose the nose. So I learned a lot today, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I was having fun racing up there in second for a while, following Keselowski, and we kind of dialed our car out a little bit, being a new car, and we've never run it before. We weren't really sure what would work and what didn't work. So learned a lot today, and come back next time and hopefully be even stronger.
Well, Vince, get used to seeing this kid. I got the funny suspicion we're going to hear a lot more about Ryan Truex.
Yeah, it's amazing when you talk an 18-year-old there and a 19-year-old here with Trevor Bayne, a guy that ran in the top 5 most of the day, ended up 11th. What happened there at the end?
Well, that caution just killed us there at the end. I think our team, our Pet Care Toyota, deserved the top 5 all day long. I mean, we were just so good on the long runs. Short runs, we struggled. We talked about it at the end of the day. Hey, if a caution comes out with 15 to go, we need to make some changes to make this car hook up. And we made an attempt at it. We came down, took 4 tires just like Kyle did. He managed to get back to 3rd, but we got caught in behind some other cars, and the adjustments weren't all the way there. We were just way too loose at the very end of the race, and kind of like it was the beginning on short runs. So we needed that long run at the end. Too bad it wasn't about a 40 more more lap race because we'd have been there again. That car was just really strong. I was so proud of everybody at Diamond Waltrip Racing for the new car that they gave us this weekend. Everybody's kind of coming into these races blind, but to finish in the top 12 with both the cars, I mean, that says something for the whole operation there.
At one point when you were racing with Kyle, he radioed in and said the 99 is loose fast, and that's the way he wanted to be. Maybe give a little description of what that feels like when you're the man in the seat of a loose, fast car.
It feels great because you're going by everybody. You know, that's the best time of the day for us, was when we could run the top, be loose, about the time we got by Kyle, and we were still fast. And that's what these cars, you have to have in them. You know, they've got enough side force to hold it, and that's what we had to learn on the test day here Thursday. Every time we try to tighten up the car because it felt loose, we'd slow down. So these things just have to be sideways, and you got to learn how to drive them. It's a new experience, but it's a lot of fun to be behind the wheel behind one.
How well do you feel like you have a handle on it now after spending this weekend? Having a top 5 car, you didn't get the top 5 result, but it's got to be encouraging as you go to the next stop.
I got to be honest, I was a little worried going into the race, but to run top 5 all day and be battling with Cub drivers who have a lot of experience in this style car says a lot for our team, and it says a lot for the learning curve that we've picked up here. You know, I think we're going to be pretty tough to handle, hopefully. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think our team's done a great job so far, and they're going to continue to do that. Looking forward to Bristol next weekend, going back to our home track where we were really strong last time, so hopefully we'll have a good stretch of races here coming up.
Trevor Bayne, 11th today, but even a better run than a 11th place finish would indicate.
Vince, I'll tell you what, every time I listen to that young man, every time I talk to him, all I can think of is he's going to be big in this business.
He's already fast.
Yeah.
You know, he's learning. He's spent the first part of the year getting all the mistakes out of the way. You know, we tore up a few race cars here and there. But I've talked to Cup drivers about him, and they all say the one thing about him is he's got that thing, and that is fast, and he's going to be really good.
He's got a lot of confidence, and that's what you got to have. He's got speed, he's got confidence, he's got what it takes to win races on a consistent basis. And like he said today, a big morale booster for him to be able to compete against those Cup guys. I think if he takes anything out of today, he's going to go back and say, hey, I ran with those guys. I was running side by side with them. They didn't blow my doors off, and man, am I loving this new car because it got me in the hunt.
And, you know, the reality is that's what this Nationwide Series does best.
Yeah.
People talk about Cup drivers in the Nationwide Series and should there, shouldn't there be, and all that kind of thing. But think about what Trevor Bayne just said. At 19 years old, by the way.
Yeah, the grand old age.
He got the chance to get out there and race against Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick on a track like this today, and he learned so much from this. And it's such a great opportunity for these young guys that this series still presents, even though the economic times are tight and it's harder for an owner to give a young driver a shot. That's still the benefit of this series for them, is the experience they get against these guys.
Well, I can't argue that point whatsoever. I mean, you have certain days that are magical days, no doubt about that. Most of the time, the Cup guys put it to you, but every now and then you put it to them, like happened to Trevor today. He had a great run, and this is something that's sticking with him. You know, hope he can keep that momentum up. Like I said a little earlier when we were talking, this particular car, the next time it's going to run is on a short track
in Richmond,
over in Richmond, Virginia. Now, Richmond, Virginia, that's totally different, guys.
Yeah.
But then we're going to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, another 1.5 miles, which is a totally different 1.5 miles, which we just ran today. So a lot of changing things with this new car, but I like what NASCAR did with the schedule. They kind of moved around all these different tracks to give all these guys a snapshot of what they're going to need for next year.
I know what you're trying to say, but I can hear people saying to you right now, this is a 2-mile track, but it's the same style.
2-mile track, 2 miles. To me, it drives like a 1.5 miles, and I apologize. I did make a mistake there. Keep the emails and keep the hate mail back with you.
No. But it's the same style of track to a driver and a team, right?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And here's something else Trevor said. He can't wait to get to Bristol. That'll make him close to your heart. There'll be a lot of people can't wait to get to Bristol next week. And as we check out the upcoming races for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, look at the variety of tracks.
Man, look at that. We're going to Bristol. We're going to short track. We're going to road course. We're going to one of the fastest racetracks in all of racing, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then back to a short track, then the Monster, baby. We're going to get a little bit of everything in there.
Join us at some of the races.
Get you some.
How you find out. There you go. More post-race coverage from Michigan in a minute.